911, what's your emergency?
There's something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car.
Okay, what is the 3-year-old's name?
Caylee, Caylee Anthony. My daughter's been looking for. I told you my daughter was missing for a month. I just found her today, but I can't find my granddaughter.
Is your daughter there?
Yes.
Can I speak with her?
Sinister, they want to talk to you.
Hello? Hello? Can you tell me a little bit what's going on?
My daughter's been missing for the last 31 days.
And you last saw her a month ago?
31 days.
Why are you calling now? Why didn't you call 31 days ago?
I've been looking for her and have gone through other resources to try to find her, which was stupid. Okay. I think the officers are here.
That was the moment everything shattered. One sentence, one smell, one child gone. Caylee Anthony, 2 years old, bright eyes, a laugh that filled rooms, and then silence. She had vanished. For 31 days, no one outside her home even knew she was missing. Not a report, not a flyer, nothing. And the woman who was supposed to protect her, her own mother, was out at bars, posting selfies, smiling in nightclubs. The world didn't know a child was gone, because her mother never told them. Then came the lies, the nanny that didn't exist, the job she never had, the trail that led nowhere. And with every passing day, one truth became harder to ignore. Someone was hiding something. America watched in horror as a family unraveled. A mother accused of murder. A courtroom filled with rage, doubt, and secrets. A nation divided. Was it a tragic accident or a calculated cover-up? This is the case that stunned the world. The story of Caylee Anthony and the mother who said nothing. This is the case that stunned the world. The story of Caylee Anthony and the mother who said nothing. You're watching Dark Trail Files. Hit subscribe and follow the trail. She had just turned 2. A playful little girl with a cheeky smile and deep brown eyes that lit up every room. Caylee Anthony was born on August 9th, 2005, in Orlando, Florida, into a home filled with noise, laughter, and secrets. We see her first in grainy home videos, splashing in a kiddie pool, blowing kisses at the camera, arms wrapped tightly around her grandfather's neck. To Cindy and George Anthony, she was their world. They called her their sunshine, a granddaughter they helped raise, while their own daughter, Casey, slipped between the cracks. Caylee Anthony, just 19 when she had Caylee, was known for being outgoing, always smiling, always on the move. But behind that energy was a different picture, a young mother often absent, vague about where she worked, vague about where she went, and always playing a role, even when the curtain should have dropped. The house they all lived in wasn't small, but it was tight. Tight with tension, miscommunication, and the unspoken rules of a family trying to hold itself together. Then came June 15th, 2008. Father's Day. Caylee spent it swimming in the backyard pool with her grandparents. Cindy, as always, had her camera out, capturing every giggle, every splash. That moment will be the last time anyone outside of Casey saw Caylee alive. By the next morning, she was gone. There was no alarm raised, no Amber Alert, no calls to police, no missing posters, just silence. But Casey, she wasn't silent. She was out, staying with her boyfriend, Tony Lazaro, partying, shopping, posting photos. To her friends, everything seemed normal. No mention of Caylee, no sign of anything wrong. For 31 days, the child was gone, and not a single word was spoken. Not by the mother who carried her. Not until the guilt or pressure or something else finally snapped. July 15th, 2008. It had been 31 days. 31 days since anyone had seen Caylee Anthony. That night, a desperate grandmother, Cindy Anthony, picked up the phone and dialed 911. Her voice...
911, what's your emergency?
There's something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car.
Okay, what is the 3-year-old's name?
Caylee, Caylee Anthony. My daughter's been looking for. I told you my daughter was missing for a month. I just found her today, but I can't find my granddaughter.
Is your daughter there?
Yes.
Can I speak with her?
Sinister, they want to talk to you.
Hello? Hello? Can you tell me a little bit what's going on?
My daughter's been missing for the last 31 days.
And you last saw her a month ago?
31 days.
And why are you calling now? Why didn't you call 31 days ago?
I've been looking for her and have gone through other resources to try to find her, which was stupid. Okay. I think the officers are here.
Trembled. Her words cut like glass. There's something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car. That was the moment the world stopped, and the search for Caylee began far too late. For a full month, Caylee Anthony had told everyone Caylee was with a babysitter, a woman she called Zani the nanny. She gave addresses, phone numbers, details that sounded real, but were all fiction. There was no Zani. There never had been. She claimed to work at Universal Studios, said she was busy with her job. Detectives followed her there, hoping for answers. But what came next was straight out of a movie. Caylee walked the halls confidently, waved at employees, then finally turned around, looked at the officers, and admitted, "I don't work here." It was all a lie. All of it. As investigators scrambled to make sense of it, the media caught wind of the story. A beautiful missing child, a mother with no answers, and a trail of deception that led nowhere. There was no crime scene, no signs of struggle, no body, but there was the car. Caylee's white Pontiac Sunfire. Abandoned, towed, and inside, something was wrong. The trunk held a strong, unbearable odor. One officer said it smelled like decomposition, a stain on the carpet, a strand of hair, and a scent that forensic dogs would later alert to. Still, there was no certainty, no location, no witnesses, only a question hanging in the air like smoke. What happened to Caylee? Police began to piece together Caylee's days, clubbing, shopping, posting online. Not the actions of a frantic mother searching for her daughter. Not the actions of someone grieving. But was it murder? An accident she tried to hide? Or something darker, twisted in lies? The world wanted answers. But all it found was a web, tangled in stories that kept changing. And at the center of it all was a little girl who never got the chance to tell her own. The days turned into weeks, and yet the questions only deepened. What happened to Caylee Anthony? Where was she? Investigators turned their attention to digital breadcrumbs, the kind no one realizes they're leaving behind until it's too late. On Caylee Anthony's home computer, they discovered disturbing internet searches. Chloroform, neck-breaking, phrases no mother should be Googling, especially one whose daughter had just vanished. Then came the dogs. Specially trained cadaver dogs zeroed in on the trunk of Caylee's white Pontiac Sunfire. They didn't hesitate. They reacted as if they'd caught the unmistakable scent of human decomposition. The same car Cindy Anthony had called 911 about, frantically claiming, "It smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car." But Caylee? She remained calm. Too calm. And that's when detectives brought her in for questioning.
I found out all these names that you're giving me are people that either never worked here or have been fired here for a long time ago. Okay, so where we are right now is in a position that doesn't look very good for you. Because obviously, I know, and you know, that everything you told me is a lie, correct?
Not everything that I told you.
Pretty much everything that you've told me, including where Caylee is right now.
That I don't know where she is.
Sure you do. And here's,
absolutely
listen,
do not know where she is.
Let me explain something. Looking at you, I know that everything that you've told me is a lie. I am very confident, just by having talked to you this short period of time, that you know where she is.
I legitimately have not seen my daughter in 5 weeks. I didn't let anything happen to her, except I trusted her with somebody that had been taking care of her, that had been taking good care of her. Someone that she was comfortable with, that I was comfortable with.
What about Jeff? You said Jeff worked here until about 2 months ago?
No, he hasn't worked here for quite a while.
10 months? How long?
It's been at least 10 months.
Okay. He got fired in 2002. He hasn't been an employee here since 2002.
We put a lot more together than I think you realize we put together. My question to you is, we're in this office because our purpose in coming here was to do what?
I'm trying to think of places where I know she's been.
You're not answering my question. Do you want us to help?
Yes,
you want to help us find your daughter?
I do want you to.
Well, a good starting point would be to answer the questions, okay? If I say to you, we're here because, and then you just ignore that like I never asked it, and go off in some other direction, is that answering the question?
No.
Okay. Well, let's go through this again. We're here because?
Because I lied, because I brought you up here, And honestly, I was reaching for
No, stop
another
right there.
avenue.
I want you to tell me how lying to us is going to help us find your daughter.
It's not going to.
Well, then if the main thing you want to do is find your daughter, and you don't think lying to us is going to help us find her, why would you do that?
Because I'm scared, and I know I'm running out of options. It's been a month.
What are you scared of?
I'm scared of not seeing my daughter ever again.
I'm a parent too. I would have been beside myself.
I have been.
I would have called the police immediately, and that's the part that I just don't understand. Well, we've got so many resources out there that we could help on day one.
You didn't know what to do.
I didn't know what to do. At that point, I'm thinking, okay, they haven't been gone that long. Maybe I can find them. Maybe I can track them down.
We're not stupid, okay? And what you're doing right now is you're treating us like we're stupid. Everything that's coming out of your mouth is a lie. Everything. Either you gave Caylee to someone and you don't want anyone to find out because you think you're a bad mom, or something happened to Caylee and Kaylee's buried somewhere or in a trash can somewhere, and you had something to do with it. Either way right now is not a very pretty picture to be painting. You're painting yourself as a very bad person. It needs to end.
The truthful thing is that I have not seen my daughter. The last time that I saw her was on the 9th of June.
Remember we had those two people that we were talking about, the person who had an accident and a person who's just a cold-blooded, callous monster? That's telling me that you are the second person, this cold-blooded, callous monster who doesn't care and doesn't want to help because she's afraid that something so heinous happened that everyone's going to look at her and say, she's a monster, she deserves to go away, she deserves to never see the light of day, this bad thing should happen to her. I don't want to believe that right now, but you're giving me no choice. Tell us what happened to Caylee. Tell us what happened to Caylee.
I dropped off Caylee. And that's the last time that I've seen her. I dropped her off.
Where did you drop her off?
I dropped her off at that apartment.
No, you didn't.
That's exactly where I dropped her off.
Did you just think that one day she's just going to show up at your house?
No, I sat around yesterday trying to figure out what to do. I'm glad that I ended up seeing my mom, that all of that stuff happened. It happened for a reason because
you're glad you saw your mom. You could have saw your mom 5 weeks ago and said, Mom, I don't know what.
I saw my mom's reaction right off the bat, and it would have been the same from the get-go.
So wait a minute, you're more afraid of your mom's reaction than you are if you ever see your daughter again?
No, I'm absolutely petrified. Absolutely petrified. I know my mom will never forgive me. I'm never going to forgive myself.
Is it that there's some other thing more important in your life right now that you just weren't really focused on what you were saying when you told us, so you kind of just accidentally told us you had an office here and we needed to be here, or did you purposely mislead us? Which of those two is it?
I purposely misled.
Okay, so you purposely misled us. This was all an attempt to help find your daughter, right? That makes sense to you, correct?
In a backwards sort of way, yes.
Backwards sort of way.
I'm coming back to places that are familiar to me, that I know are familiar to her. Familiar situations that maybe, just maybe would help. She's almost 3.
She's almost 3. What do you think, she's going to take a cab here? I mean,
I know
how do you think she's going to get here?
Because she's with someone else.
She's with someone else who's hid her from you for 5 weeks.
Yes.
Why would a person who has hid your daughter from you for 5 weeks, okay, bring her to the building that you used to work at?
I don't know what else to do anymore. If I knew where she was, if something would have happened, I would have admitted that a long time ago.
Do you believe thinking up more lies to tell us will help us?
Yeah. She's with someone that I absolutely do not trust, and that I'm absolutely scared that
you don't trust yet was babysitting your daughter for a year.
I don't trust her now because of what happened.
Who did you call first? Who did you go to for help first to help try to find her?
No one.
Oh, no one. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I'm glad we got that straightened out.
The footage was chilling, not because of what she said, but because of what she didn't. While the country lit candles and held vigils, hoping Caylee might still be alive, Casey remained locked in a different story. Her parents, Cindy and George, shifted their narrative too. First, defending her, then doubting her, then defending again. Inside the Anthony home, truth had become a moving target. Casey's phone calls from jail added to the unease. She sounded cold, detached, as if Caylee's disappearance was an inconvenience, not a tragedy. Investigators also spoke with her friends, her ex-boyfriends, anyone who had crossed paths with her during those missing 31 days. Their stories revealed a woman who partied freely, laughed easily, and never once mentioned her daughter was gone. Surveillance footage would confirm it. Casey out shopping, drinking, dancing, while Caylee was missing. This wasn't just a grieving mother. This was a woman living a lie and doing it in plain sight. It's a case that refuses to rest, not because of the verdict, but because of the questions that still echo. Some believe Caylee's death was no accident, that her mother, Caylee Anthony, young, restless, and desperate for a different life, saw her daughter not as a blessing, but as a burden. In the weeks after Caylee vanished, Caylee partied. She got a tattoo that read Bella Vita, beautiful life. She smiled for cameras, entered hot body contests, drank with friends. The coldness of her behavior became a piece of evidence itself. Investigators found damning clues. Searches for chloroform, neck breaking, and how to make weapons on a computer tied to the Anthony home. The scent in the trunk of Caylee's Pontiac was described by her own mother as the smell of death. Hair samples were recovered. Stains were tested. And then there was the duct tape, reportedly found near Caylee's skull, a grotesque detail that shook even seasoned officers. But others ask, what if it really was an accident? The defense would argue that Caylee drowned in the family pool on June 16th, the very day she was last seen. That George Anthony, Caylee's father and a former cop, helped cover it up in panic and fear. That Caylee, already a compulsive liar, spun deeper webs to protect her family from disgrace. And what if her entire spiral of silence was trauma in motion? During the trial, shocking allegations were made. Caylee accused her father of sexually abusing her, claims George denied under oath. The courtroom froze. Truth blurred with emotion. Reality tangled with performance. There was also the nanny. Zani the nanny, Caylee called her. A mysterious woman no one could verify. According to Caylee, this woman took Caylee. But investigators never found a single trace of her existence. Could Caylee have been abducted? Or was the story just another brick in Caylee's fortress of denial? And then, there's the psychological lens. Caylee's detachment. Her ease in fabricating stories. Her strange calm under pressure. Was it guilt? Or a coping mechanism forged in a chaotic household? Even today, no one agrees on what really happened. And maybe that's what makes it so chilling. December 11th, 2008. A utility worker steps into a wooded patch off Suburban Drive, just a short walk for the Anthony family home. He thinks he's found something, and he's right. Inside a black trash bag, half buried in the brush, are skeletal remains. Bones. Tiny. Fragile. A child. Then something even more chilling. A small skull with duct tape stretched across the mouth. It is Caylee. The discovery shatters any remaining hope. The world that had watched and waited for a miracle now stares into the face of a nightmare. The images hit newsrooms like a thunderclap, and the fury is instant. Caylee Anthony is indicted for first-degree murder. And with that, the case explodes from a regional tragedy into a full-blown media storm. Satellite trucks surround the courthouse. Protesters scream for justice outside the Anthony home. Talk show hosts sharpen their knives. HLN and Nancy Grace take the story national, and soon, the entire country is gripped. By 2011, the courtroom becomes a national stage. The prosecution steps forward first, casting Caylee as a heartless mother who killed her daughter to escape the burden of motherhood. Their timeline is sharp, their tone is brutal. They say she used chloroform, wrapped duct tape around Caylee's mouth, and dumped the body. Then, the defense stuns everyone. Jose Baez stands before the jury and claims Caylee drowned in the family pool, that her death was a tragic accident. But that wasn't the shock. He goes further. He tells the courtroom Caylee had been sexually abused by her father, George Anthony, since childhood. That trauma, he argues, explains Caylee's erratic behavior, her lies, her silence, her emotional detachment. The courtroom holds its breath. George Anthony denies every word. He takes the stand, stone-faced. He swears under oath that he never touched his daughter and that he didn't know how Caylee died. But the jury hears more than just testimony. They see a family in collapse. And then they hear Caylee.
What do you mean, which one? Which one? I did 4 different ones, and I don't know. I haven't seen them all. I've only seen 1 or 2 so far.
You don't know what my involvement is and stuff?
Casey.
Mom.
What?
No.
I don't know what your involvement is, sweetheart. You're not telling me where she's at.
Because I don't f***ing know where she's at. Are you kidding me?
Casey, don't waste your call to scream and holler at me.
Waste my call sitting in the jail?
Whose fault is you sitting in the jail? You're blaming me that you're sitting in the jail?
Not
Blame
my
yourself
fault.
for telling lies. You mean it's not your fault? What do you mean it's not your fault, sweetheart? If you'd have told them the truth and not lied about everything, they wouldn't...
Do me a favor, just tell me what Tony's number is. I don't want to talk to you right now.
I don't have his number.
We'll get it from Lee because I know Lee's at the house. Get Tony's number for me.
Hey.
Hey, can you give me Tony's number?
I can do that. I don't know what real good it's going to do you at this point.
Well, I'd like to talk to him anyway.
Okay.
Because I called to talk to my mother, and it's f***ing waste. Oh, by the way, I don't want any of you coming up here when I have my first hearing for bond and everything else. Like, don't even waste your time coming up here.
You're making it real tough for anybody to want to try to... I'm not going around and around with you. That's pretty pointless. Christina would love to talk to you because she thinks that you will tell her what's going on. Frankly, we're going to find out. Everything
I have no clue where Caylee is. If I knew where Caylee was, do you think any of this would be happening? No.
Anyway, you only got a couple minutes for this, so I'm not going to let you completely waste it. Here's Christina. She thinks she can get through.
No, I want Tony's number. I'm not talking to anybody else.
Hello?
Hi, I'm glad everybody's at my house. Do me a favor, get my brother back because I need Tony's number.
Does Tony have anything to do with Caylee?
No, nothing.
Okay, so why do you want to talk to Tony?
He's my boyfriend, and I want to actually try to sit and talk to him because I didn't get a chance to talk to him earlier because I got arrested on whim today. I just want to talk to Tony, get a little bit of...
Casey, you have to tell me if you know anything about Caylee.
Sweetheart,
if anything happens to Caylee, Casey, I'll die. You understand? I'll die. If anything happens to that baby.
Oh my God. Calling you guys? A waste. Huge waste.
This is Casey, alone behind bars, a daughter unraveling under pressure, a mother trapped in a cage of lies. You can hear the fury in her voice, the confusion in her parents' questions. You can feel how broken it all is. It's not evidence, at least not in a legal sense. But emotionally, it's devastating. As the trial grinds on, the tension builds. One side says she's a manipulative murderer. The other says she's a damaged daughter caught in the storm of her own trauma. But in the end, no one is telling the full truth. And Caylee, the little girl at the center of it all, remains voiceless. The world held its breath on July 5th, 2011. After weeks of explosive testimonies, graphic evidence, and relentless media coverage, the jury delivered a verdict that sent shockwaves across the nation.
15606-0. As to the charge of first-degree murder, verdict as to count 1, we, the jury, find the defendant not guilty, so say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, on this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge of aggravated child abuse, verdict as to count 2, we, the jury, find the defendant not guilty, so say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge of aggravated manslaughter of a child, verdict as to count 3, we, the jury, find the defendant not guilty, so say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge of providing false information to a law enforcement officer, verdict as to count 4. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of providing false information to a law enforcement officer as charged in the indictment.
Okay. Will counsel and the defendant approach the podium?
Not guilty of murder. Not guilty of aggravated child abuse. Not guilty of aggravated manslaughter. The only conviction, 4 counts of lying to law enforcement. Caylee Anthony walked out of jail shortly after, release for time already served. But she didn't walk out into silence. Public outrage was instant. Protests erupted across the country. Signs demanding justice for Caylee, voices crying out against a system many felt had failed a child. And then, she vanished. Caylee disappeared from the spotlight as quickly as she entered it. For years, she lived under the radar, reportedly staying in South Florida. Later, she worked as an assistant to a private investigator. But the silence wouldn't last forever. In 2022, Casey reemerged, this time on camera. A Peacock documentary titled Where the Truth Lies gave her a platform to speak. In it, she once again pointed the finger at her father, reviving the same allegations that once stunned Courtroom. And yet, even after all these years, the truth remains tangled. George and Caylee Anthony still divided, still unsure of what really happened in their own home. Caylee Marie Anthony would have turned 20 years old this year, but her voice was silenced before she ever had the chance to speak it. She was just 2 years old. Her laugh, her voice, her tiny footprints gone, silenced before the world ever got to know her, buried beneath months of lies, smothered in controversy, and wrapped in questions that may never be answered. But even now, one still echoes. What really happened to Caylee Anthony? Was it something accidental? Or something far more deliberate? Was this justice? Or just the appearance of it?
She disappeared. I know that's what it's all leading up to. I can tell you about what I remember from that morning. It's not much. The night before was a normal night. Got Caylee to bed. Woke up the next morning, got her breakfast. I wasn't feeling that great, and I wanted to lay down. Put on the TV, the door was closed, and I had her lay in bed with me. I've been a light sleeper my entire life because I'm used to someone opening the door while I'm asleep. I'm used to being on alert, especially with my child next to me. It's part of the reason she slept in bed with me so much. In my bed with pillows stuffed against the wall with the bed up against it so she couldn't fall, so the bed couldn't move.
Were the doors unlocked to your bedroom?
I thought that I had locked it, but maybe not. It's possible that the door was unlocked. I know my dad was at home. But I fell asleep and was asleep for a while. And I was awoken by him shaking me and asking me where Caylee was, which didn't make sense because I looked next to me and that's where she was. TV was still on. She would never even leave my room without telling me, even if she had to go to the bathroom. She'd never just leave me there. She knew she wasn't allowed to just be in the house by herself. And I immediately start looking around the house. Her room, what used to be my brother's room, in the bathroom, my parents' room, the garage. I go outside and I'm looking to see where she could be. She's not in her playhouse. Where is she? Why is she not here? Didn't make sense. Still doesn't make sense. She had never done that before. Why that day?
Did you look inside the pool?
Didn't have to. By the time I came back around from the left side of the house, I came back around towards the front porch. She's standing there with her. She's soaking wet. I can see him standing there with her in his arms and hand her to me and telling me that it's my fault, that I did that, that I caused that. And I just collapsed with her in my arms.
What did she feel like?
She was heavy. She was cold. As I'm sitting there with her on my lap, just hysterical. just staring at her, not knowing what to do. He takes her from me and he immediately softens his tone and tells me it's going to be okay. That she was going to be okay. That's what he said to me. I wanted to believe him because I wanted her to be okay. And I don't know how long I sat outside. I don't know where he went. He took her from me and he walked away. I know he went back in through the screen doors and he went back into the house. But I don't know where she went. And I don't know what he did. I just want her back. It's all I wanted this entire time. I can tell you about how numb I felt and how broken I felt and confused, but also hopeful because I believed that she was still okay. And I know people are going to question, well, why didn't I make a phone call? Why didn't I call 911? Why did I even wait to tell my mom anything? But I didn't tell her anything. Why lie? Why not do 100 things 100 different ways? I have to live with that, knowing that I failed to protect my child, and that I kept failing her even after that. I failed her again and again and again because I still protected the person who hurt me.
We've heard the court's verdict. We've seen the protests. We've followed every twist, turn, and televised moment. But truth may have slipped through the cracks, lost in whispers, buried in silence. So now, the question turns to you. Do you believe the full story has been told? Or is something still missing? Let your voice be part of this. Leave a comment below, your thoughts, your instincts, your truth. And if these stories speak to you, if they keep you awake the way they keep us awake, then subscribe. Because justice should never be a headline we forget. It should be a voice we keep alive. And remember, silence doesn't always mean peace. Sometimes, it's the loudest scream of all.